Looks like we're starting.
Attention all units. Suspect seen heading south. Block all major roads and capture the suspect.
So I guess I'll talk a little bit about each runner. Both of them have already participated in one race today. Both of them raced me, actually. And so Koinu is the more experienced runner. She's been running the game for quite a while. And that's just the sync, don't worry about that. Stellar is fairly new, so right now Koinu is expected to win. Looks like neither runner is attempting CE skip. So it seems like Koinu is several seconds in the lead right now. This is mostly because she's adding in more spin dashes and sticking to hills more. So we'll see how these truck sections go. When you accidentally messes up the spin dash chaining there. Stellar still not using as many spin dashes as he could, so losing time at the end there. So Koinu pulls ahead with a 2:06 with a 6-second lead over Stellar.
This game of tag is boring. I'm out of here. Finally decided to show up, eh? Okay. Bring it on!
Bigfoot reporting to headquarters. Intruder has
So I believe Koinu is going to attempt front box here, going for a quick kill. No, she's just being safe and using back box. It's a couple seconds slower, but it's very easy. So
This is Spider Troop Bigfoot. Bigfoot to headquarters. Over. We've engaged the enemy.
see both runners using the back box.
Hey guy, take
25 is a pretty standard time for back box. You'll probably see that from both of them. When you get on top of 10 fingers, followed by Sandy Path, the really close by one. Looks like it's a good layout. 4 whirling eyes, really good RNG for Koinu. Quite the opposite for Stellar. Stellar he's holding a box, which is a really bad first piece.
Yeah, this is perfect.
This piece is in one of these boxes. Looks like he struggled finding it just for a bit. Not too much to say about that Eggman fight. It's a fairly straightforward fight. Just point forward and shoot. Stellar is definitely going to be losing a lot of time there to that first Knuckles stage. Both to bad RNG and also not quite knowing how to collect the pieces as efficiently. Koinu's about to approach the first gate hop. See if she can get it. Ooh, she just missed it. Was a little bit late on that. I personally think the first gate hop is the hardest one. You have an enemy that tries to snipe you off of the gate, and it's kind of hard to avoid that. stllr could be utilizing a lot more jumps around corners. We're seeing him take many sharp turns and slow down very much as a result. This is obviously because he's a new player and he doesn't quite know how to control the mech as well as a more experienced runner of the game. It is something he can work on, though. Misses that first gate hop, mostly because he got a slowdown on top of it. That can certainly make it much harder to get. When I say getting a slowdown, I mean if you take too sharp of a turn, you will lose a lot of speed. And that's why we're seeing Koinu do a lot of hopping around sharp turns and things like that.
I did it!
Koinu secures a 146.
That was easy.
Koinu's now entering Metal Harbor. This stage could be fairly dangerous depending on how you play it, but she's playing over loop strats, and she'll probably go through the back of the loop later in the stage, so she's going to be playing it fairly safe. Koinu just had a little bit of a struggle getting across the gap with the dash pads in front of it.
9, 8, 7,
Looks like this rocket skip is giving her trouble,
3,
and she does get it. I have seen worse, personally. In this tournament, I had a rocket skip where at the time it was under a second remaining. It's kind of, really sort of kills the mood. Feels really bad when that happens.
Yes!
She does get out of the stage, though, in one piece for the 143. stllr hits the dash pad on the left side before that ramp. That's something generally people want to avoid. I'm sure he doesn't really know about that yet, though. The dash pad on the left there has a much higher speed value, which gives you a lot of airtime that you want to avoid.
Blue hedgehog again, of all places.
I found you, faker.
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself
stllr does come off with a rocket very late. He forgot to mash the A button. I do know he knows about that. I'm not sure why he forgot.
You won't even get the chance. I'm the coolest. Oh, I see. So you're not just a hedgehog. Hedgehog! Not bad. Buster.
Do you know who I am?
stllr gets a pretty similar time in Metal Harbor with a 141.
Shadow, what are you doing? Hurry and get back here right now before the island blows up with you on it!
blows up. Gotta get out of here. Find Amy and Tails. Right
I doubt
away.
either runner going to the stage will use the wall run. That's usually something you only see from very, very high-level players who've been going for very fast times. But we are seeing a pretty good opening to the stage from Koinu. Almost clips through that fence and dies. The stage can be really tricky. So all of these hills in Green Forest are sort of poorly programmed in a way. They have a lot of different polygons that they're built out of. It's very easy to fly off of them if you're not careful, or if you don't know exactly what you're doing. It does look like Koinu got the top spring. She doesn't skip the robot enemy though. She's going for this loop skip. Going for bungee skip as well, sort of aims a bit to the right, hits the invisible wall, but still makes it. stllr is not going for that first loop skip, because it is very tricky to get. I'm not sure why he unballed from that spin dash.
Huh. No problem.
I must have missed it because I was distracted by something, but it does look like stllr took a death, I'm assuming.
No time to lose. I have to hurry and find.
Is there a difference in speed? There's a massive difference in load times between the GameCube version and the PC version. When you're getting twin hits, she knows right where it is, so we'll just go right to it. Both players are playing on the PC version, though. Also, there are a lot of exclusive tricks to the Dreamcast version. Oh, that's unfortunate. stllr just lands slightly to the right of those sort of archways. When that happens, it's very easy to accidentally spin dash into one of them and fall to your death.
It's closer. I found him.
The differences between versions are very minor. The biggest difference between... Oof, that's a rough death for stllr again.
Yeah, this is
The biggest difference between GameCube and PC, besides load times, is that there are more hints in the hunting stages in the PC version, which is a pretty large difference. Koinu's entering Mission Street. She might attempt a half cycle if she gets the pause hover onto the weight. She could also attempt a zero cycle, but I'm not exactly sure if that's in her arsenal of tricks. It looks like she's just a little bit early on that pause hover. Getting that pause hover is all about timing. You want to be close enough to the weight to get onto it.
Okay.
You basically want to be at the highest point of your jump by the time you reach the weight. So we're gonna see what cycle she's on. This does look like it might actually not even be first cycle pace, so I think the best she might be able to get with this is actually 1.5 cycle. And that will be tight, so we might even see a second. I agree. Whoever designed these roads is a complete madman. Koinu misses the 1.5 cycle, so she's gonna go take second cycle instead. It's good that she knew to take second cycle instead of staying on those front platforms. Seems like Stellar's having some trouble with piece knowledge. Certainly not knowing all of the piece locations in Knuckles will be a huge advantage for Koinu, since she does know at least the majority of them. Stellar gets a place you can hear the horn, which is right beneath him right now. Just needs to go lower, but he doesn't quite know exactly where it is.
I did it!
Does finally get it. That is going to be, for the most part, the biggest difference between beginners and experienced runners. Beginners are not going to have that Knuckles piece knowledge, because it takes a long time to memorize all of the piece locations. There's about 500 different piece locations you need to memorize for Knuckles, for all of the missions. About 100 per each mission.
The inside of the mines to be like this. This is gonna be tougher than I thought.
Koinu gets top in an oven. Or actually, no, this is bottom. No, it is top. I was right at the first time. I'm silly.
It's closer.
This could be up top or a ghost room, and it's up top. That's not super good. It's not that great to be getting a second piece up top. It's not the absolute worst, though. She does grab that pulley with no problem. This piece can be in two different places. Kind of have to tell them apart by radar.
It's closer. I found him.
She does finish the stage under a minute.
Yeah, this is perfect.
The president must be over there! Let's go!
Looks like Stellar's getting 1.5 cycle. I believe that is the cycle. Yeah, that would be a 1.5 cycle. So that's a half cycle faster than Koinu's. Oh, Stellar, very, very risky angle there. You want to be aiming right where the road starts curving for that hover. Because that, when you aim for where the road starts curving, you can clip straight through the wall, no problem. But if you're anywhere before that, the walls are solid on all sides, so you can touch them and fall to your death. Koinu is snaking this entire time because while you're in a drift, you have a higher speed cap, so you can keep full boost speed. She's gonna do a few intentional wall bangs, hopefully not spin out, and she just wants to collect rings and use boosts in certain areas. You can see some free pieces during the opening cutscene to Aquatic Mine, but I don't think either runner got that. Oh, I didn't see it. Yes, there is 3 fans. Stellar should be hitting Switch 3 by now. It's usually going to be faster to hit Switch 3 and then collect any free pieces you might have seen. He gets the second piece in Ghost Room. Koinu finishing with what seems to be a 219. Fun fact about Route 101, the timer is really broken for some reason, so whatever time you see at the very end, right before the stage ends, the game will subtract about 0.9 seconds from that. Stellar gets a 118 in that Aquatic Mine. His RNG was not significantly worse than Koinu's, but he did lose time to improper stage routing and not knowing exactly where to dig for pieces. Of course, every time you miss a dig on a buried piece, you're going to be losing a couple of seconds. So that's one of the important things to master for Knuckles, knowing exactly where you should be digging so you get all the digs first try. Koinu is not opting to do the pause hover here. The pause hover across that large gap there is frame perfect, so a lot of people don't go for it. There are easy backups if you miss it, though, that don't lose all that much time. So going for that frame-perfect pause hover, you can still actually save time with it if you can get a good backup. Yeah, Koinu is in the stage after the stage Stellar's in. She has a very large lead right now. I'd say her lead is at least 2 minutes. And she'll probably keep that for the rest of the run. She is the more experienced runner. Stellar is still fairly new. Fairly inexperienced at the game, so... Oh, that's a very unfortunate death for Koinu. Just one of the last possible places she could have died. Perhaps the last possible place. Very, very unfortunate. Koinu does finally finish hidden base with a 207 plus a very large death. That's gonna hurt. Although she still has such a large lead that it does not matter at this point. She's now entering Pyramid Cave. She'll pick up the bounce bracelet in here. I do believe she's updated her strats for the beginning, so she will be going for Chow Box, Hover, and a Spin Dash jump off of a post and beam. That's very common, that's what we see most runners use. Yeah, she is just going to go for that. Just bounces a little bit late on that super bounce. Guess I'll briefly explain super bouncing. If you bounce into a wall with a lot of speed, all of your speed gets converted into vertical speed, and that is what super bouncing is. You're going to be seeing that a lot with the rest of the game. Koinu getting that door clip second try. Looks like she struggled to get a good angle the first time. Does get it second try though, that's fairly good. We're not going to be seeing any snake skip from her, so she's not using any gravity minutes in this stage yet. Those gravity minutes do save some time, but they are very risky if you are not very confident with them. Missing this super bounce again, just very late. There's a lot of problems that people have with super bounces is waiting until you're right up against the wall to do the super bounce. You can actually totally afford to bounce well before the wall. As long as your bounce is still moving upward, you will get the super bounce.
Huh. No
Stellar opting out of doing the out of bounds at this section, instead just taking the more intended route. Death Chamber is gonna be another point in the run where I think Koinu should save a lot of time over Stellar. Although she's not going in the right direction right now. She realizes that and turns around. She needs to go towards green.
It's closer.
She's now searching for a hint. This piece is in the blue room. It does seem like out of all the Knuckles stage we've seen so far from Koinu, this one is where her knowledge is suffering the most, so that's where she can improve the most.
One more left.
Go up and right by the wind power. So this is near red. I do believe she knows where it is. She knows where she's going, so that's good. This piece can be very annoying to grab if you don't know exactly what you're doing to grab it.
I found him.
She does finish the stage under 2 minutes, so although there were some hiccups in that, she did eventually find all the pieces, and it does seem like she knew where they all were, just had a little bit of time she had to spend thinking where to go.
Huh? Who's there? What the? A ghost?
Stellar is now finishing Pyramid Cave, so he's gonna start Death Chamber.
And he's gonna go for this one cycle fight. It's a very nice early hit on that hourglass. That looks like it's a good one cycle. She's pretty much got it in the bag. There it is. Stellar's got Fire Dance. Looks like he knows where he's going.
What a hassle.
Now after Fire Dance, he's very likely to have a second piece in the red room or in core. So the best option is to go back towards red. And it looks like he does know this. So that's very good. And he does know where this piece is, so that's good. Down this hallway towards the green room. So that layout from Stellar, that is not the greatest layout. Certainly very improvable layout there.
Nice try, Rocky.
So that's pretty bad RNG. Looks like he does know where this is, so yeah. He might actually even save time over Koinu here. Find it. He does. So he will actually be saving some time back there. So Koinu is not really on pace to make the first cycle anymore. There are a lot of mistakes at the beginning, so it's got to be extremely tight to make this cycle. I don't think it's even possible anymore. So she'll be going for second cycle. Oh, she just released her hover very early there, so the weight fell. The way to get the weight to never fall is to hover all the way to the back wall and don't release your hover until you touch the back wall. That's basically how that works. It looks like Stellar is missing one cycle Boom Boo. That's going to be a very costly mistake. It's going to be very hard for him to catch up after doing something like that. Missing one cycle Boom Boo in this way loses a lot of time. Koinu does get the clip out second try for Eternal Engine. Yeah, so getting this 2 cycle Boom Boo where you get 2 hits and then another 2 hits, that loses, I'd say, about a minute, because you have to go through his chasing attack where he's like trying to bite you. It wastes a lot more time. He also throws more fireballs than at the beginning. He just throws 4 fireballs at the start. I believe he throws 6 after you get 2 hits on him. So he also turns around and tries to eat you a lot easier, so you have to wait a little bit longer to hit the hourglass. Missing the first cycle wastes a lot of time. So we see a 145. So he lost about a minute there.
I gotta do better next time.
We're definitely not going to be seeing super bounces from Stellar on this Egg Golem. Just going to be casually going up the back. One strategy you can use on Egg Golem is to wait for him to do an attack while in the front of him, and charge a spin dash while you're waiting, and then spin dash around the back so that you can easily get to the back. Doesn't look like he knows that, though.
It's close to the
That is the only way to really avoid the ballerina move, which we're seeing now.
It's close.
One more left.
Wow, Koinu getting really good RNG here. Getting 2 pieces at the bottom.
It's closer.
It's a 42. Stellar getting this ballerina move again. He needed to bait out an attack in the front.
Yeah,
And
this
since
is
Egg Golem is down to 2 hits, he can use the head smash attack. So he really should be going for a hit on that head smash with a double bounce. He's got to be getting another ballerina here because he lands behind Egg Golem again.
Long time no see, treasure hunter. Did you find my emerald?
That's a good one. Your emerald. Talking to you is a waste of time.
Very well.
So even without super bounces, Stellar could be saving a lot of time, over a minute, by just using a strategy for the fight. It looks like Koinu did go for Ringless Rouge, missed it, and died.
How you want to play? I will take it from you. Memorize rouges.
She still has over a 2-minute lead, though. I should correct myself. More like 3 minutes.
Get away from my emerald.
Koinu might do the skipless or might go for Crazy Gadget skip. I don't think she uses CGSS, so we'll see. She might end up losing a lot of time here if she gets stuck on the skip, missing the goal ring continuously. So hopefully that doesn't happen. She's definitely going to be going for the skips because she got the switch on the left, so we'll be seeing that. Does look like she's going for a bounce off of the corner here, but that's a little bit tricky to do. She's missing the B button, it seems. There she goes. Stellar now out of bounds in Eternal Engine. Has to make his way to the goal ring. Koinu for the shot at the goal ring. Oh, barely misses it. Very close there. Stellar finishes Eternal Engine with a 220. That probably was the second cycle with a very safe ending. I wasn't paying too much attention, but that would be my guess. Could be low. Yeah, I figured that was going to be too low. It's unfortunate. Crazy Gadget Skip is a very bad trick to be stuck on perpetually like this. It wastes a lot of time every time you miss it. It wastes about 50 seconds every time you miss the goal ring here. It's much more dangerous to repeatedly attempt and fail than CGSS is. Because a missed CGSS might waste 10 seconds if you hit the kill planes, or maybe 30 or 25 if you miss the goal ring. And this wastes a lot more. That's gonna be... Ooh, that's it. That's in. Okay. She does get the goal ring, third try.
Huh, no problem.
You're no match for me, weak little fox.
So we're not going to be seeing any sort of AI manipulation in this Eggman 2 fight. She hasn't learned anything like that yet, so she's just going to do a firefight, take an intentional damage boost before the laser to not get lasered in the face there.
I can't lose to Tails.
One of the nice things about the AI manipulation is you can get a nice shot right before his laser, and you don't get... There's like no chance you will ever get double lasered. So you can get 2 shots at the end while he's using his laser. Fairly easy. So I should say, like, everybody who's running this game might want to learn the AI manipulation strat. He's now going to go for FR skip. Fairly clean start to the stage, and she gets a nice bounce off of the rail. So it's all about turning around the kill planes now. She's around the kill planes. Now she just has to make sure she avoids the kill planes at the end and falls into the goal ring. Stellar doing the Rouge fight. Looks like he does get a ringless first hit. Misses the second hit, unfortunately, but still finishes the fight before it gets out of hand with a 19. Koinu's definitely got this FR skip. She has plenty of height, she's not going to hit any kill planes, and she's going to be above all invisible walls at the end, so... That's pretty much it. She's just got a boss fight, and that'll finish the run.
Yes!
Seems like she could pull out a 44 with this run, which is better than the 46 she had earlier.
No problem.
Nice improvement there. Most of her time loss definitely came from Crazy Gadget Skip, missing that.
Before this is over, I'll show you the true
Stellar is just going to go for skipless, it seems. Koinu's got this good rhythm, so it looks like she'll get a 16. And yeah, she finishes with that 16-second fight. 44:07. So that's GG to Koinu. She now has 1 win, and I believe
I did it.
3 losses. So in order for her to place, she'll have to beat Wanamaker.
Awesome job, Tails.
Sonic!
Look outside.
Ooh.
Koinu, if you can hear me, I'm really sorry about that crazy gadget. I'm really sorry. That must have felt rough.
Emergency. Emergency. Well done, Sonic. But you'll never leave this room alive. Ha-ha!
Seeing as super bounce to skip the last puzzle room here. Ooh, that's a very risky ending. There's no reason why you would need to jump and bounce into the glow ring there. You could just run straight forward into it.
Just made it.
You're no match for me. Weak little fox. All right. No dance for you.
I figured he would get a propeller punch there. Getting a propeller punch on Eggman is very bad because it essentially does not count as a hit. It does 1/3 the amount of damage, so getting it is essentially just like pushing him across the stage and not really dealing any damage. But he does finish the fight. Finishing that fight without a death is a very good thing to do. But yeah, you do want to be avoiding those propeller punches. Stellar not crouching on all of the rails. Crouching on rails builds up a lot of speed. It looks like he's going to be doing the skipless. He definitely rail switches off of that rail extremely early, but he can still catch this rail. It's gonna be tight. A lot easier to catch it in the vertical section. Oh, that's rough. I don't think I've ever seen that before, actually. I don't even know what just happened. He is trying to get onto this top rail here, but he's missing it. Can be a little bit tricky to get onto that. Oh, he's dead. That sucks. Stellar is trying to do the bounces onto that rail, which it's tricky if you don't understand exactly how to do it. I personally don't recommend it for beginners. Oh, yikes. Almost goes up the rail. Does go up the rail, actually. Again, not crouching on that rail. These rails do like to be crouched on.
It would have been a useful. It would have been very useful to get a trick off of that last rail, and use that to get onto one of the slope platforms on the right side. I do believe Stellar might be on personal best pace. I'm not entirely sure about this. So if he just finishes this stage without dying too much, and then gets a clean Shadow 2 fight, we might be seeing a personal best. However, again, I'm not entirely sure. Ah, so that's a no. That's not gonna be a PB. I will press after that. Again, Stellar could use a lot more spin dashes in his gameplay. Just running down that last slope probably wastes 5 seconds or something when you could spin dash down it. Spin dashing builds a lot of speed, especially in a downhill, so you should always be spin dashing downhills. It might seem like I'm being extremely critical of Stellar, even though he's a beginner, but he does like to know what he's doing wrong, and he does like to improve what he's doing. I know that for a fact, so I do hope he'll listen to what I have to say, so that he can improve. Looks like he doesn't quite have the rhythm for the homing attack pattern here, so he might just do this the intended way. Still attempting the homing attack pattern though. Just a little slow on it though. He certainly needs to be doing faster homing attacks. That was now too fast. This is a very tricky kill to get down. It is like a lot harder than it looks, I will say. A lot of this looks like he might not be going stick neutral during the homing attacks. Going stick neutral can reduce the amount of times you'll ricochet off of Shadow, so that could be helpful.
Time to put this to rest. This is the ultimate.
A quicker bounce could have finished it off right there. If you're slightly early on the last homing attack, you can just do a bounce and it will get a hit on Shadow. Does finish up the fight in the 222. Certainly a very improvable boss fight for him. And that's going to be the race. Both runners have finished.
Sonic, I did it!
Awesome job, Tails.
I don't know what this camera is I'm seeing on Koinu's side.
Alright, well, your runners are koinu93 and stllr, and I am Jazz, also known as Jazz Speedruns. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, make sure to follow any of the runners that you enjoy watching. Yeah, everyone, like, have a nice day. I'm gonna go.